Good morning, students. Welcome to our next class. Hope you are all doing well, safe in your home. Okay, so in the previous class, we have discussed a few examples and we have gone with the definition of AI. And also, we told that in the next class, now we will be talking about the problem space. How you are going to define the AI problems. So, in terms of a state space representation. And what do you mean by a problem? Now, we in today's session, now we will be discussing all these things. So that means we are going to look into the problems. What do you mean by a problems? How you are going to define the problems in artificial intelligence with respect to the problem space, and what do you mean by the search? Okay, so now let us try to understand how do you define a problem. So it is very simple. So you have solved n number of problems, you have written normal programs for solving any problem. So when you consider a problem, now it which can be caused by a different reasons. Say problems can be caused by a different reasons. There might be so many reasons because of which you get one particular problem, and you know that when you are able to solve that particular problem, and if it is solvable, if the solution is there, then obviously there might be different ways in which you can try to solve a problem. There may be different methods in which you can try to solve a problem, right? So any problem which is solvable, so you have different ways in which you can attack that particular problem and you can solve a particular problem. So in AI, if when you are going to build a system, so to build a system or to try to solve a particular problem, now we are going to say that we need four important things, or we can say that there are four steps in which you can try to solve a particular problem if you want to build an AI system in order to solve a problem. So just like how we human beings are trying to solve a problem, now here also we need to have the four steps. So what is the first one? The first one is very simple: define the problem precisely. So what it is trying to say is that you define the problem very precisely. So because we are going to see that we are going to develop a system now which is going to solve a problem. Just like how we are going to solve a problem, now if you want to solve a problem, first thing you have to define it precisely. Like say for example, now you want to there is a problem that now you want to go from your from Bangalore to your native place. Now if this is a problem, if you want to go from Bangalore to your native place, first thing you have to define it precisely. Yes, I want to go, on which date I want to go, when I want to go from my to my native. Because if you are not sure that, so when you are going to on which particular date you are going to your native, so then it's very difficult, right? So we say that, or say for example, now you want to write a program to add two numbers, right? Your the definition of the problem should be very very precise, right? So now this definition here must include precise specification of what the initial situation is. Now what is your initial situation? Now if you want to go to your native, so in Bangalore where you are, what is your initial situation? Are you in a position to go tomorrow itself? Are you in a position to go immediately go to the Majestic bus stand and take a bus or train and go to your native? Are you in a position, right? What is your initial situation? Is packing is over? Do you have sufficient amount of money? And all those other things, right? So what we are telling, when you are going to define the problem precisely, now you have to have certain specification, like say what is the initial situation, right? Now what is your initial situation and what will be the final situation? So now what is your final situation also? So you from Bangalore to native, so what is your initial situation, and you are in the Bangalore, and what are all the specifications you need, you have to define it carefully. And final situation, so in your native, in which place you want to go, right? Or say for example, if you take your water jet problem which we have discussed in our previous class, right? Or other problem, sorry, water jet problem we have not discussed yet. Say for example, now you are talking about a tic-tac-toe game which you have already discussed. Now what is the initial situation in a tic-tac-toe game? When you are defining a tic-tac-toe problem, you have to tell, okay, this is my board configuration or initial configuration. the board configuration, all the positions are empty, and what we should be your final configuration, that also you have to define. Now if for player 1, if he wants to win the game, now what should be the final configuration? So all 3x should be there. X should be there either horizontally, vertically or diagonally, then only so you are going to say that the person has won the game. So what is your initial configuration? This I can call it as the initial configuration, and this is your final configuration, right? What should is your final step or the final goal? What is the goal? So you have to everything you have to define. So we are telling define the problem precisely. So the next thing is analyze, right? Once you know your problem, once you know what is your initial conditions, how you are there, and once you know that where you want to go, that is the goal, everything is there. The next step is you have to analyze the problem, right? Now you have to scrutinize the problem carefully. So you have to look into all the features now which are required for us. So deeply analyze the problem. Now analyze the problem, like say that you can say that now how you want to go from Bangalore to Native, whether you want to go by bus or whether you want to go by train. Now if you are going to by train, you have to analyze whether seats are available, now whether the train is available at that moment of time when you want to go. So like this, all the things, all possibilities, you are supposed to analyze, scrutinize the problem for all the various possibilities, such that you go from your initial state to towards your goal state, right? So this is the second step, that is you have to analyze the problem carefully. Now the third step is that isolate and represent the task or background knowledge that is necessary to solve the problem. So now what knowledge is required for us to solve that particular problem, to solve a tic-tac-toe problem? What are the rules? See, right? So when you are talking about the knowledge or the background, you should know the rules. Without knowing the rules, how you can solve or how you can try to play the chess or tic-tac-toe problem? So your third step says that knowledge. Isolate, that means you take the required for your required domain. Now what is the knowledge is required, you take that knowledge only, and represent that background knowledge in such a way that it helps us to solve the problem, right? This is the third step. And the fourth one is choose the best solving technique, right? So choose the best solving technique. Now you have different techniques are available for us. Now you try to select any problem solving technique and apply it to the particular the problem, right? And apply that to our particular problem. So these are the four steps. Now what are the four steps? Once again, if you want to say, first is problem definition, right? Now you are supposed to define your problem. So define the problem carefully, that is your first step. The second step is analyze the particular problem, so try to analyze the problem carefully. And the third step is knowledge, so you acquire all the knowledge, acquire all the required knowledge for your domain in such that for which is required for you to solve the problem. Like say if it is a tic-tac-toe problem, what rules is required for us to solve that particular problem, right? The knowledge. And the fourth one is select the problem solving technique. So you might be having so many techniques are available for us, so you try to select any one particular technique now such that you are going to solve the particular problem. So these are the four important steps are there. Now let us see now defining the problem. Now when we are talking about defining the problem as a state space search, now this is very important. This is what we want to discuss now. Not just defining the problem, but how you are going to define the problem as a state space search, right? So in the examination also you will be getting the question saying that they will give one problem and they might say you that ask you that how you are going to define the problem as a state space search, right? So when we are using this term search, why we are using this term search? Because when you consider a problem solving is nothing but searching for the goal state, right? Now you want to search the goal state. If it is a tic-tac-toe problem, from the initial board configuration, from empty board, now when you are going to build that problem, you want to win the game. So if you want to win the game means either row wise, column wise or diagonally, you need to have your configuration, right? If it is an X, then X is going to win, or if it is 3 O's, then the second player is going to win the game. Now you have to keep on searching. You have to keep on searching where is your goal state. So you have to reach that particular goal state. Like say for example, if this is one goal state for player 1, right? So player 1 horizontally, if he gets all X, is going to win. Suppose say this is the goal state for player 1 to declare that he has won the game. So now you will be in an initial board position that is empty. From here in your state space, you have to search this goal state. That is what we are telling. Problem solving means what? It is nothing but searching for the goal state, right? So now see further. Now what is it mean? Indicate more structurally. Now it is a structured method. So what is that? Problem solving. It's a structured method for solving an unstructured problem. So what it contains? Now a problem can be characterized by set of goal states, right? So now when you have got a problem, the problem can be characterized by the set of goal states. Again, it depends upon our what type of example we are taking. So for some problem you will be having only one goal state, for some problem you may be having set of goal state. So what is that goal states? Second, set of objects. So now there will be some set of objects, like say in tic-tac-toe. So in manually we are saying X or O for one player, X for one player. Now these are all some set of the object. You need a board. A board is one object, right? To solve the problems, now we need some set of objects and set of operations, right? If you have just a board and if you have coins, nothing, you have to place it. So how you are going to place? With some operations, some rules is required, right? So now what we are selling, this approach, that is the state space, what we are telling, now it contains number of states. So this approach of defining a problem as a state space search, it consists of defining number of states, and the starting of the problem is the initial state. So you have to define what is your initial state of your problem, right? You have to define what is the initial state. Next you have to define what is the goal state or final state. You have to define the initial state, you have to define the final state. Now all this comes in our first part or first point, what we just now discussed. Define the problem precisely, right? When you are defining a problem precisely, so there you are going to tell this is my initial state. Okay, this empty board is my initial state. Next, what are the final state? Which all the board configurations are there where you are actually winning the game? So what is your board configuration state, final state, right? So now we say, so a state space, what is a state space now? It is a set of legal positions. It is a space, right? So it is like this. It's a very big space. If it's a tic-tac-toe, it is a space. Now in this space there might be so many possible moves will be there. Now like say that you are placing X here, first move, first time, this is one position, this is, or we can say this is one legal position. Like this there can be already, like say first player has placed an X, now O is going to make a move, this is another position, right? Another state, we can say this is one state, this is one state, this is one state, this is second state, like this. So there can be so many states will be there. There can be so many states in our state space. So a state space is set of legal position starting from initial state. You are going to start from an initial state using set of rules. There will be some set of rules, right? How you are going to make a move, legal moves. So using some rules to move from one state to another state. So from initial state, when player 1 is going to make a move, you go to one state. Then player 2 is going to make a move, you go to another state. So like this. So what we are telling, state space is a set of legal position starting at the initial state or starting from the initial state using set of rules. So you will be having so many rules. Using all the set of rules, move from one state to another state. So when you are moving, so why you are going to move from one state to another state? Finally you reach the goal state. You are going to end up with a goal state. Now this is the definition for a state space search. Say in the examination they may ask you a question, define a state space search. Now when you are saying define a state space search, now how you are going to define a state space search is nothing but a set of legal moves, right? A set of legal moves or legal positions starting from an initial state. Using set of rules, we move from one state to another state such that you are attempting to end up or go to the goal state, right? This is how we are going to define a state space search. So now when you consider this state space search or problem space, you know it is an abstract space, right? It is an abstract entity or it is a space. So it consists of a problem space encompasses all valid states. Now you should have valid states that are generated by the application of any combination of operators, right? We will be having operators. Operators are nothing but rules, right? So by applying a proper combinations of operators, you are generating all valid states. That is why we say it is nothing but a abstract space, right? And the second thing in our term what we are using, a search, state space search, right? You know what is a state space now. It is an abstract space which has got all legal moves, and by using some operators we start from initial state and eventually go to the state space. That is what state space. But we told state space search. Now what do you mean by a search here? Now a search refers to the searching for a solution in our problem space. Now when you have got a problem space which has got so many states, positions are there, in this one may be our goal. So this is our goal, right? You may be here at the starting state. Now from starting state you are to search your goal state, right? You have to search to your goal state. So a search refers to searching for a solution to your problem space, right? So this search proceeds with a different type of search control strategies. Now we will be having different type of search are there. We have got certain control strategies that we will be discussing in our later topic. So now this is what we try to define called as a state space search. Clear? So now we will come for the methodology of state space approach. Now when you consider this state space approach, now what is the general methodology in which we are defining the problem? Now what is this methodology or what it says? The first is represent the problem in a structured form, right? Using different states. So you try to represent the problem by using different states. Depending upon the problem, now you try to in a more structured manner try to represent by using different states. Next, the second point is that identify the initial state. Identify what is your initial state of your problem, right? Now already we told that define precisely the problem. The first step is define the problem. When you are defining a problem, you will be defining what? Identifying the initial state. Identify what is your initial state and represent it properly in a structured form, right? Identify the goal state. Now what is the goal state? Represent it in a using a proper structured form. Next, determine the operators for changing the state. Determine the operator means write some set of rules. Clear? Now determine the operators. Now such that you are going to have certain rules here. Next, represent the knowledge. Now have all the knowledge to solve that particular problem. What all the knowledge is there? Represent that particular knowledge in a particular form, right? And the sixth, start from initial state and search the path to the goal state. So you are going to start from the initial state and what is the path which leads towards your goal state, right? Now this is the general methodology what we are going to apply here, right? Now more precisely, now we can define it in a different way also. Now you can see there is another formal definition of a problem. Now it says that to provide a formal definition of a problem we need following things, right? What is that? Define a state space. Now those 6 points what we just now discussed, right? Now we can put it in a more formal way. Define a state space that contain all possible configuration of relevant objects, right? So you define a state space with all possible configuration, then specify one or more state that describes the possible situation from which the problem solving process may start. Right, now you start with specifying one or more state from where you are going to start the problem, or it is all called as initial state. Right, so then specify one or more state that would be acceptable solution, that is goal state. Specify your initial state and specify the acceptable solution space, which is called as the goal state. Then specify rules or operators. Specify the set of rules or operators. Now this is what we are can even more formally we can try to define our problem. Right, now defining a problem as a state space search. Now we are going to consider some examples. So we will be trying to consider certain examples, and we are going to see that how we are going to define it as a state space search. Now first we will try to consider some of the games as an example. Now when you are going to solve a particular game, so what we generally need in order to solve a game, we need some rules, because any game when you are following or when you are playing any game, there will be some rules. Right, you have to follow some rules. Then what is the winning position? Right, now how you are going to represent that game. So all these things are very important. Right, already we have discussed this. The opening position of the game, we call it as the initial state, and the winning position is generally called as a goal state or the final state. And we need moves. So how we are going from initial state to some other state, intermediate state, and eventually you find the goal state. So now this is how we are going to start working on defining the problem. So now to build the problem, so let's first take an example of a chess. Right, now how we are going to represent the state space representation for this particular game, chess. Right, now what is required? Now when you are considering a chess game, now we have to first specify the starting position of the chessboard. Right, initial starting position of the chessboard. Now when you are considering a starting position of a chessboard, how it will look. So now each position can be described as 8 by 8 array. Right, how your chessboard. Now see, this will be your chessboard. Right, this is the initial position I can say, because no pawn has been moved. So now how many? We have 8 rows and 8 columns. So now we can say this is my initial position. So each position can be described by an 8 by 8 array. Next, initial position of the goal, or the initial position of our game. Now what will be initial position? Now this is what the initial position of our chessboard looks like. Right, so we have defined what is the initial position. Next, rules that defines the legal moves. Now we should have the rules. Right, we should have some set of rules to playing chess. Now you see that chess is very complicated game. So we have just seen the tic-tac-toe. Now in tic-tac-toe game, the game was very simple for us. Right, so the game was very simple for us. But when you are considering the chess, now chess is more complicated than our tic-tac-toe game. Right, now when you are writing the rules, now how you can write the rules? Now there is another important question we can have. So when we are considering the state space representation, right, so when we are considering the state space representation of any problem, now there is no hard and fast rule that you have to define the problem in this manner only. Only thing what we want, now you are going to write the rules in a structured form which is understood. Right, now you have to remember that particular point. So now when you come to the chess, now how we are going to write the rule? See, if it is a tic-tac-toe problem, only 9 moves are there. It is a 3 by 3 array and only 9 moves, 9 turns. In 9 moves the game is going to wind up. Either one player is going to win or lose, or there will be a draw. But in a chess board, now it is a very complicated game. So now when you are writing a rules, generally now the rules will be written in such a way that it has two parts. One we can say left hand side, and the other one is the right hand side. So it has got an if then statement. So left hand side will be there. So what we are going to do, left side we have to match against the current state. Now what is your current state? You match it with the left side. If this matches with the current state, then you apply this rule. So when you apply this rule, you will go to the next position, or we can say the next state. So there is a change in the state. So left side are the matched against the current state, and the right side describe the new resultant state. Right, now you have to define the rules here. Next, what we have to define board position that represent a win for one side or the another side. So what is the board position? So if since it is a chess, now you have to define a legal move where his or her king comes under attack. So when the king is going to come under attack, that is the check and mate. Now that will be your final board position which you are going to define. Right. So next we must make explicitly the goal. So how we are going to win the game. Right. So the explicitly rules or path we are going to find, through which you are going to tell how we are going to win the game. Clear? So now we will see one legal moves, like say how we are going to write a move. So now this is our initial position. So one pawn from this place, now you have placed it here. Now this is one move. So like this, now you can either keep this pawn or you can keep this pawn. You see what all the possibility, or you can take this horse and keep it here. So there are so many moves are available for us. So then now how you are going to write the rules? So since it is a chess, now it is very difficult. So there are large number of moves. So roughly it is told that 10 to the power of 120 possible board positions are there in the chess game. So it is not simple, right? 10 raised to the power of 120, you calculate and you see how many board positions will be there. So when you consider your state space for your chess, so like this different positions, how many positions will be there? 10 to the power of 120. So such a complicated person, such a complicated rules are there. So we say no person can supply the complete set of rules. It is very difficult to supply all these rules. Right. So in order to minimize such problem, we can write rules describing only the legal moves. So only legal moves we can give, otherwise it is so complicated game. So how do you write a legal move? Now this is an example where one simple rule is been written. So how we are going to write a rule? As we told, rule consists of two things. Arrow mark, this we say this is our left hand side of our rule, and this is the right hand side of the rule. Now you are going to match this left hand side with the board configuration. So now you are going to match. So is this board in your board configuration is something is like this. Like say if white pawn is at square, row and column, right? So file E rank 2. So you see that if you take like say board configuration, now you are going to check. Now if your white pawn is at E, right, this is E row, and what is this? So this column we can say that is 4. So is it at E comma 4? If this is the board configuration, then if it matches, right, or and if there are any other conditions are there, then you move the pawn from that square to some other square, right? So if it matches, so then what you are going to do? So like this, now we are going to write here, write the rule. So state space representation, it forms one of the basic methods now in our AI, right? Now it specifies the problem solving in two important way. So why this state space representation is helpful? It allows us for formal definition of the problem. Now we can define your problem in a more formal way. Now where we can convert some given situation into some desired solutions, right? So and the second one is it permits us to design the process of problem solving. Now when you are defining the problems as a state space representation, it allows us the process in which the problem can be solved, right? So this is what I am just gave, and how we are going to say what is the initial configuration and goal configuration, right? Checkmate. So when will be the checkmate? You have to analyze, right? We have to analyze. So we are not analyzing completely because it is a very complicated. Now you know that in this board configuration, now when how the check and mate can happen. So when your king will be under check and mate, so you have to see so many configurations. We have to keep on writing all the rules for that. Clear? So this is one example. So now we will take a second example called a water jug problem. Now in this, since it is a little bit easier problem, we will try to understand how we are going to exactly define a state space search, and how to represent, and the rules, how we are going to solve the problems, and how we are going to write the rules for water jug problem. Okay, so now let us consider our water jug problem. Okay, so what does this particular water jug problem says? Now it says that now we are having two jugs are there in front of us, right? Now we are having two jugs. So we are given with two jugs of, see the problem first. Now we are given two jugs. So what is that? A 4-liter one and a 3-liter jug, right? So already in our online classes, now we have discussed this problem. So once again the recording, you are going to see it. Now if you are still having any confusion, so then now let us look into this particular problem. So now you are having a 4-liter jug and you are having a 3-liter jug, right? So say this is a 4-liter jug, right? And you are having another jug which is a 3-liter jug. So this is 4-liter jug and this is a 3-liter jug, or you can say cup or a bowl. So you can just assume it is a jug or a cup. So one is 4-liter and a 3-liter. Now neither has any measuring marks. That means on this jug you don't have any measuring marks. That means you, when water is filled in this jug, you don't know exactly how much water is there, right? Once if the water is completely filled only, you can say that, okay, if in this jug if water is completely filled, you can say yes, it is having 4 liters. But if the jug is partially filled with water, you cannot measure exactly how much liters is there because you don't have any measuring marks on it. Clear? Next point. Now there is a pump. So there is a tap. From this tap, so you can try to fill the water. So now you have got a tap. Now that can be used to fill the jug with water. Now what is our problem? Now it says that how can we get exactly 2 liters of water in 4-liter jug? In this 4-liter jug, exactly you need how much water? 2 liter. See, listen carefully. You have to get exactly 2 liter, right? But you don't have any measuring instrument through which you can measure and say yes, now it is exactly 2 liter. Without the help of any measuring instruments or measuring marks, you have to get 2 liters in your 4-liter jug, right? Now this is the problem. So now let us say that how we are going to start with state space representation. Now the state space for this problem can be defined as I comma j. Now I comma j. So it need not be I comma j. You can write it as x, y also, right? As already we told. So there is no rules that this is how you should write. Now it can be defined as I, j. Now if let us see our prescribed textbook. Now how they have given in the textbook. Yeah. So now you can see here. Now in textbook they have written the rules saying x, y. They have taken x and y when they are defining the state space representation. Now here I have taken I comma j. So it doesn't mind. So either I, j or x, y. Some variables we are taking. So now we are going to define it as a pair x comma or I comma j. Now what is the I? Now I stands for, listen carefully, I stands for 4-liter jug and j stands for 3-liter jug, right? So we have two jugs, right? Now I is a variable which is used to represent 4-liter jug. See, I represent the number of liters of water in 4-liter jug and j represent the number of water in 3-liter jug. Now when you consider I, what all the values I can take? Now I can be empty. If it is empty, then 0, or it can have some water like say 1, 2, 3 or 4. Now you can have either 0 or the values from 1 to 4, maximum 4, because it is 4-liter jug. Now when you consider the value of J can have 4 values. That means 0, along with that 0, 1, 2 and 3, maximum 3 liters, 3 liters of water, because the capacity of the jug is J is only 3, right? So now if this is the how you are going to represent, if this is your state, how you are going to represent Ij. Now what will be your initial condition? Initially both the jugs are empty, so initial will be I will be 0 and J also will be 0. So 0 comma 0 is your initial state, right? So there is no water in each jug. Then what is your goal state? Now what is the problem telling? Our goal state, it is telling that exactly in 4-liter jug you have to get exactly 2 liters of water, 2 comma. What about the 3-liter jug? Nothing is told. Nothing has told in our problem about 3-liter. What the problem has told exactly, now look here. How can we get exactly 2 liters of water into the 4-liter jug? This is what the problem is telling, right? So now the final state will what you can represent 2 comma n. So n can be anything. N can be 0, 1, 2 or 3. But it is not related, we don't mind, but what we want this 2 liters in exactly 4-liter jug. So now to solve this problem we need in addition a control structure. So apart from this, now we need some control structure, so which loops through a simple cycle by applying some rules. So what does this control structures will be having? Now you will be having a rules. So when you use a proper, later we will discuss what is the control structure, right? When you use a proper control structure, you can get the solution very fast, right? Now to solve this, now we are going to make some assumption. To solve this problem, now we are making some assumptions. Now what are that which is not specified in the problem? Now the first assumption, now we can fill the jug from a pump. From pump or a tap, you can fill water into jug. Now you can pour the water out of the jug to the ground. You can pour the water to the ground, right? So nowhere in the problem it is given, but we are assuming that now you can try to pour the water from your jug to the ground. You can empty the jug, right? The third one, you can pour water from one jug to the another jug. That means you can transform the water from one jug to the another jug. That is allowed for us. Another assumption, what is that? No measuring device is available for us. So with these assumptions, now we try to build some rules. Now we are going to write some rules, which is generally called as production rules, right? Now you can just look into this particular table, right? Now like say rule 1. Now what does rule 1 says? Now I comma j, this is our representation, right? I for 4-liter and 3 for j for represent 3-liter j. Now with some preconditions. Now there will be some precondition. Now what is that? I comma j if I is less than 4, right? I is less than 4. That means if your 4-liter jug is having I, if it is empty, that is I less than 4 means what? I can take the values of what? 0, 1, 2, 3, right? I can take values from 0 to 4, but here what is the precondition is telling? If I is either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, that means if 4-liter jug is not filled completely, then what it tells? 4 comma j. That means fill completely this 4-liter. Fill the 4-liter jug if 4-liter jug is not full. That is what this rule says, right? Now say for example, now initially what is your configuration? 0 comma 0, right? Both the jugs are empty. Now this is our initial configuration. Now you can you apply the first rule? Yes, you can apply. Why you can apply the first rule? Because you check precondition. What is precondition is telling? It is just looking to the value of I. Now what is this? Is your I and this is j, both are 0 0. Now only precondition is talking about I. Now you check I is less than 4. What is the value in I? 0. 0 is less than 4. It is true. That means you can apply this rule, right? You can apply. It is matching. Your left hand side is matching. precondition is satisfied. Now if you apply this rule, what it tells, fill the 4-liter jug, that is 4 comma j. So now when you apply this rule number 1, what will be the next state you are going to get? You are going to get 4 comma 0. Clear? 4 comma 0, because you are filling the 4-liter jug. You are going to fill this 4-liter jug. Now similarly, now you see second rule, I comma j, right? Now what is the precondition? Precondition is checking only for j. Is j less than 0? Now you see, now this is your state. Now can you apply rule number 2? Yes, you can apply. Why you can apply this rule? Because it is checking only value for j. Now is j less than 0? Now you see j is 0, less than 3. Yes, it is true. So you can apply second rule also now. If you apply second rule now here, what will be the next state you are going to get? You are going to get I comma 3, right? We are not talking about I value here. We are not talking about 4-liter jug. We are only talking about 3-liter jug. So now I, what was the previous value in I? It was 4. 4 will be as it is. Now you are filling 3-liter jug. So this becomes 3. This is a new state. Like this, now the rules are been written. So totally now 10 rules are been given here. Now you can go through these rules clearly to read these particular rules, right? Like say in some rules you can see here j minus s, right? So we are going to j minus s means already some water is there. Now when you transform the water from one to another, now there will be less, right? See j minus s here, what it says, pour some water out of 3-liter jug. Already in jug j there is some water. Now if you pour this, transfer it, so then minus s, right? Something will be less when you are transferring the jug from 1 liter to another liter. That is why we are having here minus symbol in our rules, right? So here now you try to read this, and the description is here also, clear description is been given. Now this is how we are going to write the rules here. Clear? So now we will try to take the solution. So how we are going to solve this particular problem, right? Now say this is our initial state. Now initial state is 0 comma 0. So next you are going to apply rule 1. So we'll consider what is our rule 1 here. Now what is the rule 1 says? Fill 4-liter jug if 4-liter jug is not filled. So 4-liter jug is empty right now. You see here 4-liter jug is empty, 0. So you fill the 4-liter jug. Now when you fill the 4-liter jug, what is the state you are going to get? You are going to get, previously it was 0, now you are going to get 4, and j will be same as it is. So 4 comma 0, right? So next, now you are going to apply rule number 8. So now you see what is your current position. Current position is 4 0. Go to your rule 8 here. Now rule 8, what it says? Now what is your current position? It is 4 comma 0. I is 4 and j is 0. Now you check the precondition. What precondition it says? If I plus j greater than or equal to 3 and I greater than 0, whether both the conditions satisfies, let us see here. I plus j, 4 plus 0 is 4, and 4 is greater than 3, it is true, and I 4 is greater than 0, that means both conditions satisfies. Since both conditions satisfies, I can apply the rule 8. Now what does this rule 8 says? When you apply, what is the right hand side? You are going to get this. So what it says? Pour water from 4-liter jug to 3-liter jug until 3-liter jug is full, right? So you are going to pour the water from this 4-liter jug into 3-liter jug. Clear? So I think as I told here, rule number 8, let us check some mistake. Yes, x minus of 3 minus y. So this should be I minus of, this should be minus here, I minus of 3 minus j comma 3. So just make it a correction here, I done mistake here. So it is I minus of 3 minus j. That means pour water from 4-liter jug. So next level what we are doing? Applying rule 8. So when you apply rule 8, what we are doing? water from 4-liter jug, we are pouring it into 3-liter jug. So when you pour the water from 4-liter to 3-liter, this jug which was empty, it will be filled with 3 liters, right? If it is filled with 3 liters, then we are left with 1 liter in 4-liter jug. So our configuration becomes 1 comma 3. Next we check the rules and any state matches with our current state. So current state is 1 comma 3. So rule number 6 matches. So then you apply that rule. Now what does that rule says? Empty 3-liter jug. So 3-liter jug, we pour the water from 3-liter jug to the ground. So this becomes empty. So it becomes 0. Now current state is 1 comma 0. Next you match with any of the rules from 1 to 10. So you'll see that rule number 10 matches. So now what the rule number 10 says that? So it says pour the water from 4-liter to 3-liter jug. So from this water from 4-liter we pour into 3-liter, so which was empty, now it becomes 1. So now the state this becomes 0 here, since you are pouring from 4-liter to 3-liter, so this becomes 0. So well, current state now 0 comma 1, right? So then next step we apply rule number 1. So rule number 1 says if this is empty, fill it with water. So when you fill the 4-liter jug with water, so this becomes 4, and here you are having same J value 1 itself. Again we apply rule number 8. So when you apply rule number 8, you are going to pour this to 3-liter jug. So already there is 1 liter water. Now again if you fill, how much you can fill? Another 2 liters you can fill. So when you fill remaining 2 liters, when this 3-liter jug becomes fill, right? When it becomes fills, see already 1 liter is already there, and you keep on pouring it. Capacity of this is 3 liters maximum. So 2 liters can be accommodated. So you can transfer 2 liters of water from 4-liter jug to here. When you transfer the 2 liters, so 2 plus 1, this becomes 3, and here remaining is 2, right? So now what is your board position? Now your board position is 2 comma 3. Now you compare this with your goal state. Now what is your goal state telling? Now goal state is 2 comma n. See, every time your algorithm, when like say previous state, if you go to the previous state, it is 4 comma 1. That 4 comma 1 you are going to check with goal state. Is it equal 4 comma 1? And here you have got 2 comma n. No. Then continue the algorithm. Then you come to this state 2 comma 3. You check with the goal state 2 comma 3, and here you have 2 comma n. Irrespective of n can be any value, but this 2 and this 2 is matching. So you found the goal state. So you got the solution. Exactly, you have 2 liters in 4-liter jug. Right? Now this is one of the solution to our particular problem. So when you consider this particular problem of state space representation, now this is how now you have written the problem, that is the water jug problem. Exactly, you have written in a state space representation, that is x comma y or I comma j, and what is the value of I and j. Then you have written rules in generally in a structured form. You have written a rules which has left hand side and right hand side, and left hand side some preconditions will be there. If that preconditions matches with any of the current state, then you are going to apply that rule. So you write down that rules, you write down so many rules so that you can solve the particular problem. So once you have written that rules, then you start with the initial state, that is 0 comma 0, and try to get the solution by applying the rules, right? By applying your rules you are going to get the solution. Now whatever the solution we have discussed, now we have to see that whether is it the only one solutions. No, that is why our control strategy comes into the picture. Now what does that particular control strategy says? Now when you apply these rules, these 10 rules what we have seen, right? If you are going to apply these rules properly, then you might get the solution in a more faster manner, right? Now let us try to see another solution. So we have got another solution. Now we'll try to see that particular solution which is still faster. Now you can see here the solution number 2. Now we have another solution. Now here completely we are applying different set of rules, right? Now you see here the rules were different, now here the rules are different, but we got a solution here. We have got a solution 2. So exactly 2 liters water is there, right? So if you try to solve by applying different way, now you might get the solution to a problem. Now there is another solution 3. Again here say rules are different, but finally at one stage we have got the solution here, right? So when you look into the different solutions, now if you have your good control strategy, so then you can get the solution in lesser number of steps. One, the second one is in some of the problems or in some of the solutions we are wasting the water. That means we are simply pouring the water to the ground and we are wasting the water. Now, even you can reduce the wastage also, but in our problem right now, in our water jug problem what we define, nowhere it is telling that you should not waste, right? Now, if you are considering that you want to design a solution to a problem where in which you are wasting less number of water, then you might have more number of steps, right? Depending upon our requirement you are going to build the problem, right? Now this you have seen how we are going to represent the problem in a water jug problem by using state space representation, right? So the next is, now we are going to look into the another problem called as the 8 puzzle problem, right? Now here already I think in detail we have discussed in our online classes. So now in this video I may not be going in detail about this. It's a very simple game. Now what does that this 8 puzzle problem says? Now 8 puzzle, now it consists of 8 numbers. Now we have got movable tiles are there. It is a 3 by 3 matrix. Now in each tile some numbers will be there and one tile will be empty. So one tile will be empty so that you can move this tile. So since it is an empty tile, you can move 5 to this position, or you can move 7 to this position, or you can move 6 to this particular position. Any position you can move, right? Because this is empty. So now this is our initial configuration. Now what the solution says, that you have to arrange these tiles, that means the numbers which are written on these tiles in some format, right? Suppose say this is our initial configuration, you can say that my goal, you have to arrange this tile in this form. You have to arrange this tile in 1 2 3 4 5 6 like this, 7 8. Arrange this. You keep on arranging, moving this tile here and there, finally you have to come to this. Or say for example here, so what is there, you have to arrange it in this fashion. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 in a circle way, in any way. So you can define. Now if this is our goal state, so then now you have to solve, you have to keep on moving that particular problem and you have to write it, right? You have to write some rules. Clear? So now how you are going to write some rules? Now you can say that say if this is empty, right? Now you want to move this. Now if you are going to move the tile 7 from this position to this position, right? Now if you are going to consider either like this, so row number 1 or row 1, row 2, row 3, since it is an array, so right, first row, second row, third row, first column, second column, third column. Now from which row to which column? Suppose say this is empty. Now this you can consider it as 3 comma 2, right? Because this is third row, second column, so this position is 3 comma 2. Now 3 comma 2 is empty. Now you can move this tile from this to here, right? So you can move from 3 comma 1. So this is 3 comma 1, from 3 comma 1 to 3 comma 2. So like this, in some structured form you can move. So like say here we are writing some rules. So tile in square 1 comma 1. So if there is a tile in square 1 comma 1, and move tile from square 1 comma 1 to 2 comma 1. So now if you do that, so then what will be the position? So you will be having empty square 2 comma 1, right? So say for example 2 comma 1 will be empty, correct? I think you are getting. So now if I move this tile, from 3 comma 1 2 3 comma 2. So now the 7 will come here. What will be the result after applying that rule? This becomes empty. That is what it rule, like this it is telling. When you apply this particular rule, then that particular one cell will be empty. So like this, now you can write certain rules. Clear? So you are going to apply the rules. So rule 1 2 3, like how we have seen water jug problem, and you can keep on moving, applying that particular rule. So now this, for this problem, if you look here, this is how we can get the solution. So from your initial step and finally to your goal step, right? You have to just keep on moving. So you have to move this 6. See, in the next step you are moving this tile from, say, 2 comma 2. From 2 comma 2 you are moving it to 3 comma 2. So when you apply that particular step, so now this 3 comma 2 will be empty, right? So then step 3, step 4, like this, finally you reach our goal state. Clear? So now this is the second problem, which is called as the 8 puzzle problem. Clear? So in the next class, now we are going to look into another problem called as machinery and cannibal problem. Right? Now we are going to consider then another problem called as the machinery and cannibal problem in our next class, and also we will try to look into the other now control strategies. What is a production system, how we are going to build a production system, and we are going to start the introduction about our searching. So what do you mean by a search, and what all the different type of searchings are available? Now, all those things now we will be discussing in our next class, right? So clearly try to look into the notes which that is the PPTs which I have already sent in the Google Classroom about the water jug problem, 8 puzzle problem, and also the machinery and cannibal problem, which we are going to discuss the recording in our next class, and try to write it, so that, because one important question, so you are going to get in the examination related to the state space representation. So either it will be a tic-tac-toe game, right? It can be a tic-tac-toe game also. Now by writing the state space representation for your tic-tac-toe game, so I will give it as an assignment, so you can write that particular as and take it as an assignment. And we have discussed about the chess, and we have discussed water jug problem, right? 8 puzzle problem, and in the next lecture series, now you are going to discuss about the machinery and cannibal problem, right? So by this, so I am going to end the recording of this particular class. So have a nice day. So try to watch the videos carefully and try to make it the notes. Okay, thank you for watching. Try to subscribe to my videos, so that whenever I am uploading, so you'll be getting the notification. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Take care.